We are learning the Sefer Pituchei Chotam Rabi Yaakov Avi Chatzira. We are here in the Haftr Media Lab with Gasner and Newmark, our wonderful producers. Let's get started. It's Parsha Shemini. Oh, what an awesome Parsha. Shemini is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. The Mishkan is finally ready. We're going to inaugurate the Mishkan, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, Kach, Emerald Aaron, tell Aaron, Kach lecha Eigal ben Bakar. Now, I've always wondered, what's the deal with all these different animals we bring for Karbonos? Now, I know you can learn Rav Hirsch. Rav Hirsch has Shmaka symbolism on the different Karbonos and what they symbolize, but I was so excited to see a piece from Rabi Yaakov that explains it a little bit. So we're going to see this. This is going to be quite awesome. So Aaron is told to take an Eigal ben Bakar for a chatos, and an Eigal la'oila, and v'akril v'nei Hashem, v'b'nei Yisrael daber k'chusirizim, l'chatos, v'Eigal v'keves b'nei shana tamimim la'oila, v'shar v'ayil l'shlamim. We got Shar, Ayil, Keves, Seir, Geshmak. We're going to talk about three of these animals. We're going to talk about the Par family, we're going to talk about the Keves family, and we'll talk about the Ayil family and what they represent. So get seated. Here we go. Okay. So the first thing is a piece of Arizal in Pri Eitz Chaim. Chaim Vital tells us that there is a connection between these specific animals and the Avos HaKadoshim. Yeah, we have to appreciate who the Avos were. You know, the only reason why we are who we are is because of the Avos HaKadoshim, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Because they spent their lives spreading HaKadosh Baruch Hu throughout the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises them that I'm going to make your kids the ones who continue in your legacy. And even when sometimes we falter, HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls on HaKadosh Baruch on the schus Avos, in the schus of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and our tshuva to get us a kapara. So the rewrites, V'amar parim ve'elam ukvasim, him Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Parim are keneged Avram, elim are keneged Yitzchak, and kvasim are keneged Yaakov. And he says, Kimavur b'zayar shehem chesed, gevura, and tiferes. Avram is keneged chesed, the midah of chesed. Yitzchak is keneged, corresponds to the midah of gevura, and Yaakov corresponds to the midah of tiferes. So Rabbi Yaakov brings that this is actually, we find in the Medrash a bit this idea elucidated a bit. So let's learn the Medrash. Par echad ben Bakar. We're told keneged Avram. Why? Shahaya ikar hayichus. Avram is he's the foundation of our genealogy, of our yichus. And by Yaakov, what does it say about Avram Avinu? Vel Bakar ratz Avram. When the Malachim came, it says El Bakar ratz Avram. And then the Ayil, you bring an Ayil that's keneged Yitzchak, like the Torah says, Vayikach es ha'Ayil va'yeu la'Ayil tachas b'nai. In place of Yitzchak being offered by the Akeidas Yitzchak, Avram brought an Ayil. And a keves echad is keneged Yaakov, because by Yaakov it says v'hakesavim hifrid Yaakov. So each of these animals are keneged another one of the Avos, which also correspond to chesed, gevura, and tiferes, the midas that each of the Avos correspond to. Now Rabbi Yaakov takes us a bit further, and he says that the Akeidas Yitzchak, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells, which is an awesome idea. And he says HaKadosh Baruch Hu is getting ready. He's sort of preparing. He knows what's going to happen in the future. God knows, and he prepares the refuah kadmon lamaka. He prepares this idea that a carbon being brought that helps for our kapara. And that was the ayil that was brought already back then. That was being makdim the refuah lamaka, that we should be able to have a kapara, complete kapara through karbonos. This idea was founded already in Akeidas Yitzchak. And Rabbi Yaakov shows us a remez in Akeidas Yitzchak to already a kapara for the Eigal. V'yisa Avram es einav. This is by the Akedah. After the Malach tells Avram, don't shacht Yitzchak. Vayar, he sees v'nei ayil achar ne'achaz basvach. He finds another a ram that is stuck in the bushes, bekarnav by its horns. V'yelach Avram v'yikach es ha'ayil. He takes avayil la'oila tachas b'nai, and he brings it up as an oila in place of his son. So take a look at the words ne'achaz bisvach. The words bisvach. If you take the letter after samach after Vez and after Chaf, you get the word Eigal. So it's like Hashem saying, you're going to take this Eigal because later on, the stage after this is going to be an Eigal. So this is coming to precede the Eigal. Eigal achar ne'echaz bisvach. Acher is lashon of ichur. That means because of what's going to happen later, we need to do this now. And the gematria of vihine Eigal is the gematria ha'Eigal. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Avram, or one of the ideas in Akeidas Yitzchak is to prepare a refuah for the Makkah, a kapara, already in the Akeidas Yitzchak. This idea of Karbonos come b'schus Avos to offer us help in our teshuvah process. Vayikra Avram Shem HaMakom Ahu Hashem Yir'eh is Begematria 242. Ze Be'Eigal Masecha is 242. Another remez of the connection between Akeidas Yitzchak, the carbon, and the Eigal. Now, let's get back to this idea of the Par, Eigal, and Keves. So the Baal Turim, Rabi Yaakov brings the Baal Turim that shows more deeply the connection between the Avos and these specific animals. Par, if you add up Par, Eigal, and Keves, that gets you 643. Par is 280, Eigal is 41, Keves is 322. Avram is 248, Yitzchak is 208, Yaakov is 188, get you 644. You know, there's a concept of the koil, so 643, the gematria of all the karbonos, plus the koilel, which includes all of them, is the same as Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Whoa. So Rabbi Yaakov takes it a step further. Let's look at each of these. Par is the gematria 280. Virav Chesed. Chesed is the midah of Avram Avinu. Virav Chesed is the gematria 280. So we see Par corresponding to Avram. Now if you take the Eigal, we said that corresponds to Yitzchak. Eigal spelled b'miluay, that means you spell each letter out. So Eigal is spelled Aleph Yud Lamed. If you spell the Aleph, Aleph Lamed Fei, Yud, Yud Vav Dalet, Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet, plus 3 for each, because there are 3 words here, or 3 letters, you get 208, which is the gematria of Yitzchak. Gevaldik. The midah of Yitzchak, we said, is the midah of Gevura, of strength. Each one of the Shema, the Shem Havaya has different ways to be mamalit. We've spoken about this before. One of them is called the Shem Ben, which means if you spell out the Shem Havaya with Hayes, so then you'll get 52. The gematria is Shem Havaya, b'miluya is 52. That's called the Shem Ben, and that's the Shem that corresponds to Gevura. 4 times Ben is 208. Gewalt. Now, we're left with the keves, and that corresponds to Yaakov. So if again you take the word hakeves and you spell it out b'miluay, and you take the last letter of each word of each letter. So if you say hey, kaf, beis, and shin, and you spell them out, hey, kaf, endefei, and v'chulei, the last letters of those are hey, fei, saf, and shin. They give you 535. If you take the name Yaakov and you spell it out b'miluyah, and you take the seifei teva as the end of the last letter in each of those, you'll get 434 plus 1 as the koil gives you 535. So Rabbi Yaakov is showing us the gevaldik schus avos, which each animal group, the par, the Eigal, and keves, are evoking schus avos, bringing not just our tshuva, but each animal is a way to tap into schus avos. And be'ez Hashem, through the schus avos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will grant us not only a kapara, but as Moshe Rabbeinu said, Ki hayayim Hashem nira aleichem. It's through the karbonos and our avoida, and through invoking schus avos, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moshe says, that today Hashem will appear to you. So we don't get to bring karbonos. We get to learn about karbonos. We get to learn Torah about the karbonos. We get to act like the Avos and spread HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name and make Kiddush Shem Shemayim. We should be zeicha too. Ki Hashem nira aleichem. Have a great Shabbos.